Ashe. To all gods known and unknown, Ashe. To all ancestors known and unknown, Ashe.
So this joint right here, this goes out to all the alchemists out there that know how to make that be that, that make classroom, the boardroom, avoid the courtroom. Black life is real, man, this is not a cartoon. Feel like a tiger in the zoo. Wish a motherfucker would try to take from me and mine like a motherfucker could. Wipe the rust off before I bust off. Bama's up, they stakes, fuck around, get dust off like buffet plates. This is food for the soul. Pull up a chair, pour yourself a cup of beer. It'll only take a couple years for some to really get it. I keep it so Robin Hood, get it from the comedics and go for the gold. Using formulas untold and break from the mold. Give you a piece of my soul. The way I do it is too cold. No such thing as too old. Maybe I'm just like my father, too bold, and at the same time I'm never satisfied. Guess I get it from my mama. She ain't never lied. Make moves or make money. Personally, I make magic. And ain't a damn thing funny when the fear creeps up. Man up, keep up and make magic. What you think? I'ma let these niggas out hustle me? Shit, nigga please, I make magic. Hey, you know what? Hey yo, I call it insomnia, cause sleep is not a luxury. Make magic, but the sake don't shrink. 7 has the Project Nomo, then to Guerrilla Arts. We the willing are the ones who make the revolution start. Every step was a lesson to prep me for the test. Use my mind power now, making things manifest. Also known as the secret, we speak it into existence. Some more African shit you would notice if you listen to that tiny little voice that you hear on the inner. To ignore it's the horrible mistake of most beginners, while the winners tell the story. Take the blame or the glory and distinguish themselves, making their own category, while the rest filling squares and cubicles, filling chairs, making the next man with the plan a millionaire. That's the way of the world. Big bank, take little. You be lucky if you can just maintain in the middle. But when you live outside of all of these parameters, you get your hustle on. Ain't nothing you can handle. Make moves or make money. Personally, I make magic. It ain't a damn thing funny when the fear creeps up. Man up, keep up and make magic. What you think? I'ma let these niggas out hustle.
Peace you'll ever know is in the realm of death.
It's very much punishment, kind of, when you look at it, to be in the physical body.
The true religion of science that the Canaanite studied was the science of death.
Because the truth is, we all have to leave these vessels. So if we all have to leave it, that means we aren't the body. We have to be something else in the body, which is consciousness, of course. And quantum physicists still don't understand what consciousness is fully. Well, some of them think they do.
When you die, that so-called junk DNA becomes active. So when you die, you want eternity, and you fail if you come back. You go through the cycle. Cycle is your hell. So you're looking for eternity and transformation. What's the transformation? You are transforming out of the world of matter, atom, into the quantum world of all potential energy, the chaos realm. Back to your true home.
So this is what we're dealing with. That's the metaphysics of death. You're trying to get back into the multiverse monad and enter into the aeons and get closer to the transcendent God, which the word God just means a lord over a reality.
Death doesn't really exist. It is the main gateway. When you leave here, that's when the real thing starts. That's when your soul got stuff to deal with. But in this world, you must learn how to get the tools you need and learn how to play the game in life.
Love, peace, and power, everybody. My name is Kilel Kiano, aka Konami Codes. Welcome to the Mystery Arcade Occult Multiversity. Thank you for tuning in, everybody on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. I hope you have enjoyed the week. I hope you are enjoying yourself. I hope you're enjoying each other. It's always so much going on. It's always so much being bombarded our way, to be able to navigate and discern, maintain, and elevate is a hell of a juggling act, but it's what we do. So love, peace, and power to all of you. I hope you're enjoying this universal 9-day. 9 is completion. It is adaptability. It is cyclicity itself. It is making something face what it is, or ending that cycle so that something else can be born out of it. And it is also a 8 of Hearts day. That is very significant for me. I want to say continuous rising in power to Brother Panic, to Brother Azazel Bey. I want to play something before I get off into my tangents for this evening. I got one more for you. Shout out to Scarface. For anybody who did not recognize who that was Scarface of the famous Ghetto Boys from Texas, one of the greatest lyricists of all times. Scarface had a form of heart failure back in August, and he looks to be healing and recovering well. I wish him all the healing in the world. I know he also had a kidney transplant. That hits for me because when they released, or actually when he made a post about his surgery, I recognized what he was going through because I had been through the same thing. I recognized the scar on his chest. I recognized the tubes coming out of his stomach. Because that's essentially the same thing I have. It's called an LVAD, right? You have heart failure to the point of your heart having a very low ejection fraction. It needs help, hence a defibrillator, lithium ionic permanent batteries, you know what I'm saying, that are rechargeable. You want to talk about being a transhuman. Yeah, welcome to my world. So most of us are transhuman just based off of our cell phones, right? But that's a whole nother conversation. It was 3 years ago today that I came home from the hospital after having been in the hospital for about a month and a half, dying 6 times, recovering from that surgery. I'm in the best shape of my life. I'm bombarded with understanding and creativity on a level that I've never fully experienced. And that's coming to fruition in a whole lot of ways. I want to send special love, power, and respect to Mama Diamond, aka Neena Diamond, Diamond's 8, creator of the Astrology Club on Clubhouse, and creator of Levin University, mother of Aquarius Maximus. She has come into a wonderful bounty that she has been working for a long time, opening up a center in the new Black Wall Street market. And the address or the establishment stood out to me because it was established in 2021, 5 of Hearts year. That 5 is freedom, right? Beauty on a whole nother level. So special congratulations to Mama Diamond. I look forward to hearing her speak about that hopefully tomorrow morning. Please check us out along with the other wonderful co-hosts. Shout out to my Neil. Shout out to Gina. Shout out to Sensei, who will be having a crown chakra new moon and Scorpio transformation meditation. I think that's October 29th at 7 p.m. You can find his information on my page or just send him a message. Shout out to Sensei. Shout out to Salida and her Insecure Watch Party, which launches 11/1, which is showing you the relationships and connections of the cards displayed in the characters of the show Insecure. Shout out to Issa Rae, pioneer in what we would like to call entertainment. I really look forward to that, Salida. There's something similar, perhaps in the same universe, I'm thinking about doing with The Wire. One thing about cardology, when you really get into it, it becomes a little bit all-encompassing. Perhaps I should only speak for myself. It's very hard not to see through the lens of cardology when it comes to energies, places, people, things. One of the reasons, and shout out to Ani Asaru on the Spiritual Shade Room, that clip I played earlier with Panic and Brother Bobby. Something that struck me from that video was, excuse me, when Ani said, he made the point that we are more than our body, essentially, right? Now, those of us in the spiritual realm and the occult realm, that's common knowledge, right? And it's becoming more and more mainstream every day as it needs to, right? If that wasn't the case, it wouldn't be happening. We can either help facilitate that, try to steer it in the most, as Mama Diamond would say, on the right side of the energy, or we can leave it to chaos. And, either way will work. One way will take extremely exponentially longer. And there's just, no need for that unless we just don't care, because you have that right. You have that option, right? You can pay no mind. It costs you nothing if you pay it no mind. But why not be what you signed up to be, right? Because nobody gave you any assignment that you didn't accept. And even if they did, you accepted it. But that's another story. We're going to get there. I want to say shout out to Magic Lacroix. I see you in the chat. Thank you for joining, bruh. Please go to his channel and check out the magnificent interview he did with Aquarius Maximus earlier this week, or last week now. I believe it was on Thursday. That was excellent. Excellent. I look forward to part 2 with the next iteration of that. I want to give a few more flowers out while we got the time. It is, spooky season. It's Halloween season. I've seen some crazy, some real Real fucking crazy Halloween costumes, man. It's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be interesting this year. I'll be so goddamn glad when this fucking election is over. Oh shit! I'm not even gonna get started. I'm not even gonna get started. I don't care. I don't vote. I've never voted. All respect to you, whether you do or you don't. I don't care what your party is. I don't care about none of that. I know what the cards say. I know what the numerology says. It's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. You know what I mean? It's going to be very interesting to see how it plays out because no matter what happens, somebody's going to be in their feelings. Somebody's going to be in their feelings, and we're going to have to deal with that shit. You know what I mean? So, keep your protection up. Keep your head on the swivel. I saw this video, I think it was earlier today, of a woman screaming at a baby at a rally. I don't believe none of what I see on TV, especially from mainstream media. You know what I mean? You want to believe that shit, that's on you. I ain't gonna knock you for it. Because everything serves a purpose. But it ain't no way in hell. You know what I mean? Like the baby can't understand you. And even if that's, it matters not. Because somebody's going to fuck you up. As they should. I wish you would. You can't, man, listen, you can't scream at people like that. Like, the idea of getting so emotionally involved in politics where they're going to do what the fuck they want to do with or without you. It's about your consent. They don't give a fuck about your votes. They've never given a fuck about your votes. If Kamala had all this power and was going to do some shit, she's already in office. She could do it now, right? Like, where does logic fit into this? But I'm not going to get political because that's a whole nother boat. If you're political, you damn sure ain't listening to me. So we're going to leave that shit the fuck alone. A special shout out to Visa over at Culturally Speaking. Thank you so much for having me on your platform, allowing me to serve in any capacity that I can. Please check her out on Telegram. The link is in my bio. It is also on my link tree. Anybody on Telegram, you already know. Shout out to Water Alchemist. Shout out to Legend Archer, Teresa, Everyday Goddess, everybody over Culturally Speaking Telegram. Please check them out. There's a lot of big things coming. It's a beautiful community. I'm happy to see it grow because it's going to be needed more and more. Like-minded individuals are going to, well, they already are extremely limited. You know what I mean? I hear people say, find your tribe. You better vet them motherfuckers in this world and the next. Vet them thoroughly. Okay? Understand who comes around and why. Understand reciprocation. Understand giving without expecting anything back. Understand people meeting you where you are. Understand that this is not forever. Utilize it while you have the ability to, because times are changing exponentially fast. I can barely fathom what 5 years from now is going to look like, let alone 10 or 20. You know what I'm saying? Like, utilize resources, utilize people, utilize your elders. Shout out to all the elders. You know what I mean? Shout out to the people who've been doing this work for a long time. Shout out to Reverend Dr. Phil Valentine. Shout out to Dr. Aleem El Bay. Shout out to Asir the Duke of Tears. You know what I mean? Utilize these people's archives, because They won't always be here. Hopefully their work remains. I'm still mourning, as is El Bay and his website. It finally went down a few months ago. Like, that's a wealth of knowledge, a whole library that most of us never accessed, and it's not sad, it's troubling. You know what I mean? You can find the link in the description, in my link tree to my Telegram, where you can download over 50,000 books. And it's not just me. There's other wonderful groups. Shout out to Bush Whisper, has a massive library. You know what I mean? You'd be surprised what you might be able to find. And it's not about the removal of the physical book. By all means, keep your physical books, but you can always print a PDF, right? Get it any and every way that you can. And circulate it. Shout out to Abdullah El Talib Mosi Bey, also doing some incredible work. I want to talk about a download I got from Brother Panic. He has been slapping me in the back of the head for a while now. But when he does it and he starts laughing, I know I'm cooking with something. Not long after he made the transition, just about a year ago, I believe. I'm not positive on the date. I know it was announced. Shout out, love, peace, and power, and healing to Khadijah. Everybody over at occultlectures.com. And please understand that Panic's websites are still active and available. occultlectures.com and patreon.com/Brother Panic. Any and everything you need from classes, Panic Packs, his books, they are all still available. Not long after he made the transition, I got a download to buy a Nintendo Switch, right? I'm a big Nintendo fan, old school, not so much current gen, on occasion. I'll play a few things, but it's not my everyday thing. I'm more old school. Panic said, buy that shit. Literally, right? All right, cool. And synchronicities have been happening for me over the course of the last year that just like, it wouldn't make sense if you weren't me and you weren't living it. What happened to me over the last couple of months is I've been doing a lot of inner child work, right? Because when you read the Bible, the Torah, the Quran, the majority, especially the Ramayana, right? You get a lot of child messiah stories. You get a lot of spiritual technology being conveyed. Isaiah 11:6, is with and a little child shall lead them. The idea of having to be reborn, having to be baptized again, all this mother, child. And then you think about Masonry, Freemasonry, right? And what that actually represents, the science of the mother and the child, the mother and the son. And I got this, it was like, I don't know how to describe it, a spiritual uppercut that knocked all the wind out of me. The strongest version of yourself is your inner child. And your inner child will stop talking to you if you don't pay it any attention. But the more attention you pay it, the more everything increases, specifically creativity, but psychic ability, awareness. There's one thing about children won't lie to you. There used to be a show back in the day, like I think it was Bill Cosby, kids say the darndest things, right? Because kids won't really lie. Not to say that they can't and they won't, because you can be, I hear Panic talking about, being like 1 or 2 years old, eating all the cookies, lying, saying that you didn't. Like, nobody taught you that. You know what I mean? Like, we come here exactly who we are. But when it comes to like just speaking your mind, this is going on, like kids aren't going to lie. They're not going to lie about it. They're going to tell you what it is. So your inner child is going to do that to the nth degree, right? So what kind of pet does your inner child like? What kind of toys does your inner child play with, right? I want you to really think about this. It sounds silly, and it should. It should put a smile on your face. It should crack that eyebrow a little bit, because your ass should be thinking about this, because this is your creativity. This is where it comes from, right? You'll be surprised everything that they know, because they know everything. Think about Peter Pan, right? Think about Michael Jackson living in Never Neverland. What was he trying to convey with that, right? How do you raise yourself? Because you are the parent that your inner child asked for. Think about how strong children are. They never stop. They will wear your ass down every time, all day, right? Like, they're resilient. They get what they want. There was a clip I was trying to find. I posted earlier. I couldn't find it in time, with C. Freeman L. Rise and power to him, Grand Elder. Speaking about how the purity of the throat chakra, and when the baby screams, mother gets up. Otherwise, she's going to get hit with that blast again, because the baby is speaking it into existence. Shout out to Gina on Clubhouse with Mama Diamond, because during the week, most times when she goes to speak, the baby that she watches screams. But the baby doesn't scream until she speaks into her phone or speaks into her device, because she recognizes that she's not paying her the full attention. Like, babies know, right? And they speak from the moment they get here. Do you listen? And this is ultimately, again, about listening to yourself. So I can't recommend enough, because if we exist multidimensionally, in this dimension alone, you have a higher self, you have a lower self, you have a mind, you have a heart, you have a gut, you have a spirit, you have an aura, you have an awareness, right? You have different names. You have different aspects to your names. You have the energy that you're born under, the day, the year. All of these things matter. All of these things are you, along with what you think, because all of those are just templates that have been assigned to us. But we agreed to it, so it's ours. There's nothing that's not yours. Get in touch with your inner child and understand that infinite possibilities and infinite perspectives means that you are limitless. There's a Fantastic Four movie coming out next year. And one of the elements of that movie is going to be the children of Mr. Fantastic and Susan Storm, the Invisible Woman. They have a daughter named Valeria, and who is a super genius on the same level as Reed Richards and T'Challa, Tony Stark, Iron Man, Dr. Doom. And then there's Franklin Richards. Franklin has the ability to create universes, right? Whole universes. Franklin is also beyond an Omega level mutant. Now, there was a revamp a few years ago in the comics. I don't even pay that shit no attention because they wiped out Krakoa for some bullshit that they're doing now, but I'm not going to get into that. He's still once a mutant, always a mutant. You can't take your color off. You got to understand too how fundamental and why Fantastic Four is so important. They're talking about you, right? This famous family that's like the world's first celebrities and the world's smartest man. You're talking about the four elements, right? The Thing is earth, Mr. Fantastic is water, Susan, the Invisible Woman, is air, and obviously the Human Torch is fire. So that's why you have Dr. Doom as the Anahita, right? The heart, that green energy. Dr. Doom doesn't lie, right? This is you. It's the same single body that the X-Men give you. The Avengers try. And they did a very good job for a while, but that's why they're kind of chomping at the bit to get the X-Men done and out in terms of the MCU. The Fantastic Four, shout out to Jonathan Hickman, writer of some of the greatest comic storylines of the last few years. The current Secret Wars that's coming out in 2026, I believe, Avengers Doomsday, and Secret Wars the following year. That's based off of his comic, Secret Wars comic from 2015, right? Fantastic story. Check out Rob on Comics Explained here on YouTube. Incredible, amazing story. And it's all you. I'm talking to the occultists. I'm talking to people who really study symbolism. I'm not talking about just the great story. It gets into all of your science, all of it. In terms of the Fantastic Four, they Reed came across this issue of trying to solve everything, right? Trying to solve every single problem that humanity could face, right? And he came to the inevitable conclusion that there was nothing he could do. No matter what, the universe was going to end, right? And the majority of the other scientists in the world, all of whom who were all beneath him in terms of the upper echelons of his intelligence, they had all given up, just fuck it. It ain't nothing we can do. So Reed, of course, would not let this stand. So Reed had a brilliant idea to create what he called the Future Foundation. The Future Foundation is essentially the children of the Fantastic Four. Valeria, Franklin, some aliens, some other characters like some Inhuman children, for anybody familiar with the Inhumans who live on the blue side of the moon, right? And they gave them the problem of solving the salvation of the universe. And they started to come up with ideas that even Reed couldn't have possibly imagined, because children have this natural optimism to want to fix things naturally because they can make things better. They have a perspective you can't get from most adults, right? The creative adult is the child who never grew up, right? So I want to try to drive this home just a little bit harder. Anybody who is a fan of anime is familiar with Dragon Ball. Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball GT, Dragon Ball Super, all of the movies. I grew up on Dragon Ball. This has been a very powerful year for anime in general because this is a dragon year. The rat, the dragon, and the monkey all flourish greatly in this season, right? Son Goku is an exact copy, template of Sun Wukong, the Monkey King, right, of China, just like Hanuman of India, right? From weapons to outfit, even the spiky hair, and Vegeta is essentially his shadow, right? The last project that Akira Toriyama worked on, Rise and Power to him, the creator of Dragon Ball, was this iteration, this Dragon Ball Daima, which is going to be premiering soon. The narrative of this series is, as opposed to just Goku being turned into a child, everyone on Earth is turned into a child. What are they trying to convey here? A little child shall lead them. You have to be born again. You get this clean slate, right? This is talking about the inner child. And they're showing it to you in every way possible. And it's so funny because we tend to get emotional. Even myself, when I first saw the preview for Daima, I was like, oh, fuck, we're doing this again? Like we turn him into a kid again? Oh, they're turning everybody into a kid. Okay, well, that might be interesting. And then I had to think about it. Like, what are they really trying? Oh, I get it. Right? So, it's not lost on me for a second that Akira Toriyama made his transition this year in the year of the dragon. And that's his last offering to us. That is extremely symbolic. So I hope that makes sense, and I hope that resonates with you, because I honestly can't wait to see that offering. I want to speak about triangulation, spiritual triangulation, through Cardology, Astrology, and Numerology. The question that I posed was, how did Morpheus find Neo? For anybody who remembers the movie The Matrix, when Morpheus pulled up, literally, on Neo, all you saw was a ship. You saw this hatch, this door open, and this light come out that was surrounded by 3 lights, right? Kind of like a cell tower, like triangulation. Astrology is an incredibly accurate science. And it is that. It is a science and it is an art at the same time, as are all of these practices. If you understand astrology just a little bit, you will love cardology. If you understand numerology just a little bit, you will be immersed in cardology. Cardology combines all of these sciences in a way that you really have to question the idea of the further you look back in time, the further ahead we're able to see. because we have largely collectively forgotten the powers of these sciences. But then when you look at our culture, when you look at how card games are interwoven into so many different things we do, from the idea of casinos, from barbecues, parties, birthdays, random get-togethers, somebody's playing cards somewhere. And even if we don't, depending on what we do in life, we may play our cards close to the chest, right? Everybody might not know your card. Today is an 8 of Hearts day. That is significant to me because that is my challenging karma card. What does that mean? There's that duality again. Each of us has a birth card. That's the day you were born and the card that it falls under, right? But each one of those cards has a challenging and a supporting karma card. One that you give to and one that takes, essentially. It's this ebb and flow, this balance. So today being the 8 of Hearts in the month of October, which is a preview of next year, it's been extremely poignant for me. What has stood out to you? What have you noticed today? Are you writing it down? Are you making a note? Are you paying attention? Or is it too much of a cost? The things that you notice today will bring you benefit tomorrow if you notice, right? But nobody can notice for you. Nobody. It doesn't matter the interpretation. It doesn't matter the length of time. What's for you is for you. And you can grab it, ahead of time, or you can watch it in the distance as it rides off. That energy has no choice but to come back around. And you can see that in cardology like no other science. And I'm saying that as a numerologist. You have one deck, which equals a year, 52 cards, which reduces to 7, minus the jokers. A joker is equal to 1 1/4, right? It has a little bit more weight, right, than the majority of cards because it embodies all the energy of all 4 suits. So it's literally the wild card. Love, Peace, and Power, G. Islam. What is a good introductory book into cardology? Number 1, I would recommend Neena Diamond's Cardology Workbook. That would be the first one I would recommend. Mama Diamond has 10 books she's authored so far. Celestial Patterns, Harmony's Vial. She has several cardology workbooks for the last couple of years. What am I forgetting? Aquarius Maximus has the King Cardology book. You can find that on all of these on Amazon or on 11university.com. There's a myriad. There's a lot of books. If you're in the Telegram, I've got tons that you can download for free. But I'll give you a whole lot more. I have a section from last week that has about 50 books you can find and download. You'd be amazed because, the oldest reference of this officially is 1893, the Mystic textbook. This has been widely known. And the more you gain understanding of the science, of the art, the more you can see it in play. The more you can see the people who actually know and may not necessarily speak about it, but you can always tell. You can look at, in particular in this election season, look at who is in Trump's party. Look at who is in Kamala's party. Look at who's around Beyonce. Look at who's around some of these celebrities. You'd be amazed the connections that they actually have through the cards, right? And the more you understand, that people are more than just their body, just like Ani said earlier, we're more than just our cards, but you exist in so many different dimensions. The connections are infinite, but understanding the combinations, understanding what they represent when they choose to make themselves present and known to you, that's imperative. And again, I cannot recommend journaling enough. Journaling may be what you post on social media. It may be what you type in your phone. It might be what you write in a book. I don't care. But pay attention, because if you don't, somebody else will. And that's a lot of power. We talk about, I'm calling all my power back to me. What does that mean? What does that really look like? You got to pay attention. Otherwise, if you just la-di-da and don't care, the world's going to be in chaos. You can't complain about other people running the world when you don't want to run it. Run this motherfucker. It's yours. You have 4 suits, right, that represent 4 seasons, like 4 states of being, 4 perspectives, very similar like you see in Kabbalah, right? On the 4 mental states. There's so many connections. You can go on forever. Just in the descriptions, the science, the numerology itself. You have 12 court cards for 12 months, the same way you have 12 jurors and 1 judge. That's the 12 and the 13, right? 12 court cards, the jacks, the queens, the kings. 13 cards in the suit, 13 lunar cycles, right? 52 cards, 52 weeks, 7 by 7, giving you 364 days, plus 1 for the Joker, right? Which is in alignment with the 13 months at 28 days apiece, like a woman's cycle, but that's another story as well. 91 pips in a suit. Remember Gladys Knight and the Pips? I never knew what a pip was, right? There's actually a Marvel character in the Adam Warlock and the Infinity Watch. For all you real Marvel fans, Pip the Troll, right? A pip is the symbol on a playing card, right? There's 91 of those in the suit because there's 91 days in the season. You see how that works? When you look at, let me give you a bit of a visual as opposed to just running my mouth. This is the grand solar spreads, the spiritual spread, the perfect spread, the life spread, the mundane spread, right? I'm not going to go all the way deep into this because this is a lot of information. Shout out to Aquarius Maximus. I've heard her say that cardology is easy to learn. It is. It is easy to learn. But good God, it is a lot. And you realize that the more you try to explain it to people. I've used it in my numerology readings for the last few years. But the more I learn, the more I incorporate it. to the point to where it's running neck and neck with my numerology. Hopefully you can begin to understand why. So let me give you a quick lesson. You have 13 cards in your hand. This is from Aquarius Maximus's website. Again, shout out to her. Please support her. Check out her website, aquariusmaximus.com. Check out her Patreon, her books, her app. All absolutely incredible. She saves you so much time with her innovations. And that is the daughter of Neena Diamond, for those of you who may not know. You can see the cards of today displayed on the screen, hopefully. And this changes every day. It actually changes every second, every minute, every hour, right? Depending on how much attention you want to give it, how much you want to actually see the course of a thing. But for today, these are the cards. Now, you can determine this on the solar spread based upon where your card is and based upon the cards to the immediate left of it. So if your card is the Seven of Hearts, right? That is tomorrow. That is my card. My cards start with the Seven of Diamonds and the Five of Spades and the Jack of Hearts, and so on until we get to my transformation card, which is the Jack of Spades, right? 13 cards in a hand. So if you can find your card here, you only have to look to the left and then down to find your entire hand. Now, where it gets interesting is when you look at the spiritual spread, you can see whose house you sit in and who's sitting in your house. What does that mean? So you heard me say before that my challenging karma card is the Eight of Hearts. Well, when you look at where those cards are, I'm sitting in the Eight of Hearts house in the life spread. Because in the pure spread, that's their house. So it's almost like I pay rent to the Eight of Hearts, right? But when you look at my house on the spiritual spread, the Ace of Spades is sitting in my house in the life spread. So it's like it's paying rent to me. What does that mean? Well, what does the Ace of Spades represent? Anybody familiar with cards, playing cards, decks of cards? You'll know that 9 times out of 10, that's the card, that's the symbol that they put on the playing deck, right? So it denotes a certain bit of power. When you look at it, what it represents is secrets. It represents that ace, that number one, that leader energy, that bold assertiveness. But we're talking about in the realm of symbolism, in the realm of secrets, in the realm of being an elder, in the realm of having a top tier perspective, right? I can see throughout the course of my life how I've been led to certain things, or certain things have been revealed to me, because that's my supporting karma card, and that's what it represents. And when you understand the Seven of Hearts, it makes even more sense. And it gets to a level where it incorporates numerology, it incorporates your astrology, all of that is present, but it gets very descriptive. Case in point, Seven of Hearts is the card of boundaries, right? It's about spiritual love. It's about decoding and dissecting. Very youthful, but old souls. They tend to be charming. They tend to be public speakers, overly sensitive, naturally psychic, very good at reading energy, people tend to come to them for advice. Whatever their work is, it tends to be stimulating. They enjoy harmony and friendly relationships. They tend to be mathematicians, though they are good in any field. They have an energy that can make them natural disruptors, right? I noticed that about myself. That one kind of hit me in the gut, because you got to question certain things when people tend to have, and not just people, places and things themselves. When you have aversions, or people have aversions to you, and there's no obvious reasoning, just don't like that guy, don't like that girl, don't like that place, don't like that whatever. You have to question that sometimes. You know what I'm saying? There's something wrong with you? Maybe, maybe not. It gets extremely descriptive or descriptive. Staying in the spiritual, staying on the right side of the energy, understanding how to let go of attachment, to let go of people, places, things, trauma, feelings, ideas, everything. Being drawn to mystery, puzzles, spiritual love. Like, I don't know. For me, I've never had a more in-depth description of myself. Shout out to Ra'aku. Ra'aku read me about 12 years ago. It gave me an incredible Dr. Strange out-of-body experience reading me. The same way that my gematria teacher did a few years before that. You should be looking for these moments. I don't personally care whether you're into tarot, whether you're into cardology, astrology. They're all going to tell you the same thing. It doesn't matter what you get into. It is all already in you, right? This is yours. And I want to make it very clear, especially in my support to Neena Diamond, Aquarius Maximus, Jazz Aphrodite, Lloyd Strayhorn, King Simon, these wonderful people, these wonderful teachers. Dr. Reverend Phil Valentine with the Book of the Earth, Mathematics of the Beast. For anybody who's been following Dr. Phil, for years, you should remember those. Obama and the New World Order, Passion of the Christ, so many timeless lectures. If you don't know numerology, you might not catch some of the brilliance of these teachers. It would behoove you. Brother Panic, for anybody who has his first book especially, Brother Panic shocked me with how much he knew about numerology. You know what I mean? Like, there's no getting away from it. I don't care whether you're counting mantras, whether you're counting hairs. Like, we use it in everything we do. Excuse me. We use it in everything we do. And understanding the power of frequency is going to be imperative going forward, especially moving out of this 8 of Hearts year into this 9 of Hearts year, this 9 Wood Snake year next year. Oh man. January 29th, it's going down. Who said it is going down? This country is going to look a little different than what it looks like now. If you look at the rows in the spreads from the top to the bottom and from right to left, is how you read the spread, right? The top where you see the Ace of Hearts, that would be the Mercury line. I'm getting ahead of myself. On top, you have the crown line or the sun line. You'll notice that there are three cards that never move. It is the King of Spades in the top left. It is the Eight of Clubs on the left, third row down. I'm sorry, Eight of Clubs. And it is the Jack of Hearts in the second center, right? Second row center. These cards don't move. And then you also have semi-fixed cards, which will change places with one other card every other year, right? So the movements of the cards shows you not only how order comes from the chaos, but it shows you your previous life or your Akashic records, your previous iteration when you look at the perfect spread or the spiritual spread. So there's a lot you can do here. And I mean a lot. I would actually say you can do anything in the same way I would say with numerology or astrology. There's no question you can't ask that you won't have an answer to. It's just about your diligence to know and to be aware, especially in terms of the information that these people are making available. I can't scream on it enough. Understanding your roles, understanding the lanes you've given yourself in terms of numerology, in terms of astrology, in terms of cardology, in terms of palmistry, so many different intuitive arts. You really would be surprised at what you see, how many ways you've given yourself to express. But I can't stress enough to you the power of the inner child communication. So many of us are angry for one reason or another, or a myriad of reasons, right? We've all got them. The inner child work helps you see it from another perspective. Because one thing about a child, they can be on a shopping trip with mom in a store that they really don't want to be in, or, on some kind of family outing they're not trying to participate in or whatever. They're going to find a way to blank out or make it serve them, right? Your inner child wants to serve you. Pay it attention. Just pay it attention. Because once you start that conversation, it's not going to stop. I want to share one other thing with you about perspective in terms of numerology. As I act like I know what I'm doing.
How the Sumerians count, and I feel like I have to share it with everybody. Okay, and how they counted was they would take their hand, two of them, right? Two hands, and this hand would be used to keep track of how many dozen we're counting. And you're like, what the? You don't have. Yeah. Anyways, they would go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, I get it. You're probably confused. Instead of counting the way we count, we learned in school to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They would count based off of these little notches or sections in your finger. So you have 3 per finger, and it's 12. And each time you would go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And that would be 1 dozen. And you'd keep going 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and then you get to 24, right? 2. And then you'd keep going and you would eventually reach 5, which is 60. And it's interesting because according to this documentary, 60 is how this count method of counting is how we came up with the 60-second minute and the 60-minute hour, which we still use today. And this is like a method that was thousands of years old, and it's all based off of our hands, our fingers. I thought that was interesting. And now after like talking about it a little bit more, I'm realizing that we also have a 12-inch ruler in our imperial system, and I'm wondering if that has something to do with it too. But I don't know. Maybe someone else knows more about that than I do. Kind of weird, huh?
So I would imagine some people are going to be like disgusted, because when I've tried to teach that to students, a lot of people have this reaction of like, oh my God, why haven't I thought of this? Why was I never taught this? You can understand what dumbing down education actually means. Like, we know that the Rothschilds bought and created the education system, the building industry, the medicine industry, all of that. But I don't know if we really understand what that means, right? Like, they dumbed down education. Adolf Hitler came from Germany to America to copy the education system and take it back to Germany because it worked so fucking good. Think about that shit. Okay? Think about how today is the actual first day of the week. Tomorrow's Monday, Moon Day. People go back to work. Everybody hates fucking Monday, but Monday represents femininity, right? More than any other day, arguably. Perhaps we could argue for Friday for Frigga, right? But it's the woman that starts the workload. And they hide that by taking an O out. Now, the majority of the Western world in particular hates arithmetic, hates math. Math, numbers, come directly from the woman's cycle. Do you see a correlation? I'm drawing back to Cyrus from the Warriors. Can you count, suckers? The world is yours if you can count. Notice coincidence. Notice yourself noticing. Pay attention to what is going on inside of you, and then pay attention to what's going on around you. Love, peace, and power. Everybody, thank you for joining me. I appreciate your viewership. I appreciate your time, effort, and energy. You could be anywhere on earth, but for some reason you're here with me, and I do not take that for granted. Thank you to everybody on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Telegram. Please check out the Astrology Club on Clubhouse tomorrow morning around 9 o'clock. And again, flowers to Neena Diamond for her new lease, the new Black Wall Street market. That is a powerful reward she has been working towards for a long time. I'm happy to see it enacted. She deserves it and a whole lot more. Love, peace, and power, everybody. Y'all have a wonderful evening and pay attention this week. We are moving into a 5 of Spades week, which is going to be very interesting. This is the last week before this accursed election. Accursed epoxy on that fucking election, yo. Love, peace, and power, man. I'm out of here. Peace.